we know, in earlier video lecture we have studied about the architecture of 8085. In that architecture we have studied in little bit about the registers of 8085 in that architecture video. Now in this video lecture we are going to study in detail about the register bank of 8085. 8085 basically have three different type of registers there. That is general purpose register, special purpose register, and we have a temporary registers. But it also has multiple registers inside that. Okay, so first we are going to start the discussion with the general purpose register. So 8085 have total 6 general purpose registers available in that architecture. So what is the meaning of a general purpose register? But we first have to define the meaning of a general purpose register. General purpose means it is available for coder and user. We can specify that register, we can use that register by using assembly language. What it means? Your microprocessor 8085 have total 6 different registers. Inside that 6 different general purpose register, you can store the operands, you can store the data, and you can specify that register by using assembly language programming. Okay, so here in 8085 we have total 6 registers, that is B, C, D, E, H and L. Each register is of 8 bit. Okay, so we are able to store 8 bit of data, 8 bit of operand, 8 bit of address inside that register. Sometimes if we want to store a 16 bit of data, 16 bit of address, at that time we can use this general purpose register as a pair. For example, we can use a BC as a pair, DE as a pair, and HL as a pair. Among them, if we are using HL as a pair, L is going to store a lower 8 bits and H is going to store the upper 8 bits. So this is how general purpose register work in your 8085 architecture. Now the second type of registers are there, that is special purpose register. In special purpose register we have multiple registers which have different working approaches. For example, we have here accumulator, we have a flag register, after that we have a stack pointer, program counter, instruction register, instruction decoder and machine cycle encoder. So these are the special function register. Why we call this register as a special function register? Because each register have a different purpose, different functionality. They used to follow a different work. Because of that we call them as a special purpose register. Now first special purpose register is accumulator. So why we need the accumulator? As we know, as we have learned in architecture and video, that in 8085 every output is what ultimately gets stored inside the accumulator. But what kind of output? Whatever the data is what gets processed by the ALU is ultimately gets stored inside the accumulator. So accumulator have a function that it used by ALU for arithmetic instructions. Whenever we want to process any arithmetic instruction, at that time accumulator is going to get used by the ALU. So this is what the special function of your accumulator. Next special function register is our flag registers. In your university examination, maybe question is going to be there for 8 marks. Explain flag register in detail. So here flag register is a very big topic. Here we are going to discuss all the flags of your flag register. So flag register also have a 8 bit. Okay, so it is an 8 bit register where we have total 5 flags available. What type of flags are available in the flag register? This is the diagram of the flag register and this is the position of the bit. At first position we have a carry flag, that is B0. B1 is what get by a carry. Then at the B2 position we have a parity flag. B3 is what empty. Then we have a B4. At the B4 we have an auxiliary carry flag. Then B6 is what there. At the B6 we have a Z, and at the B7 we have sign flag, and here at the B6 we have a 0 flag. Okay. So first we are going to discuss about the sign flag. Sign flag occupied a 7th bit of your flag register. What exactly sign flag used to tell us? How sign flag used to say? Sign flag indicates the number stored in we can't watch that. Maybe if zero flag, if sign flag is set right there, what it means, if number is positive or number is negative, we want to watch what is there inside the accumulator. For that, we use a sign flag. What it means, the output of any function or output of any processed by ALU, if that number is in positive, if that number is in negative, is what get indicated by the sign flag. So it is responsible for serving the sign of your output data. Next we have a zero flag. What is the meaning of a zero flag? It states when ALU result is zero, otherwise reset. When zero flag is reset, if the addition of two number is what get performed and ultimate answer of that is what? Zero. Then zero flag is what get set. If some answer is what there at that time, otherwise it is going to be a reset. Okay? So output of the process is what ultimately get decided by what? The status of that is what get provided by a zero flag. So statement says that it says when ALU result is zero. Whenever ALU result is zero, our zero flag is get set. Or maybe if ALU result is what not zero, at that time zero flag is get reset. Then we have auxiliary carry flag. What is the meaning of auxiliary carry flag? First we have to understand the carry flag. What is the meaning of a carry flag? Whenever we used to process any arithmetic operation, maybe addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, during that operation, if carry is what get generated once, okay, carry is what get generated once, and we want to know during this operation if carry is what generated, that time carry flag tells us if carry is generated or not. Carry flag is get set if carry is generated during the operation. Similar like that, we have auxiliary carry flag. What is the meaning of auxiliary carry flag? When carry flag is generated, once carry flag is what generated for third bit, and it is get transferred or passed to a fourth bit, means carry is going to get transferred to a next bit. After that, transferred to another bit. At that time, we use the auxiliary carry flag. Auxiliary carry flag says that if carry is generated, carry flag is generated, and we are passing that carry flag to a next bit, that is fourth bit. That time auxiliary carry flag is generated. Okay. After that we have a parity flag. As we know, odd number and even number. So odd number have a different parity, even number have a different parity. So here in a flag register we also have a parity flag, and its position is at second bit. Second bit of a register is what get occupied by your parity flag. So what statement is to say? Result have even number of ones. Whatever number is what going to be there as an 8-bit number or maybe 16-bit number. In that 8-bit number, 16-bit number of ones. Maybe we have a 6 number of 1, 3 numbers of 1, 5 numbers of 1. So odd and even parity is what ultimately get decided by the numbers of 1. Okay. So how parity flag gets set? If number of 1 is in even, okay, the number of 1 is in even order or is in even number at the output, then only parity flag is what they set. When it is going to reset, if it is in a odd, okay, if it is in a odd parity, then parity flag is not going to set. If it is in an even number, then parity flag is going to get set. So this is nothing but a second special purpose register, that is flag register. After that we have a stack pointer. So what is the meaning of a stack pointer? It is used as a memory pointer. What is the meaning of a memory pointer? As we have discussed in the earlier lecture, stack is a type of a memory. Consider this is your memory. Okay. Inside this memory we are putting the data. After that we are putting another data. After that we are putting another data. Okay. So first in is what going to last out. Okay, so we are stacking the memory. Stack memory is a type of memory where we are going to stack the data. Okay, so ultimately we are going to stack the data till it gets full. Okay, so what is there at a stack pointer? What is there inside the stack pointer? What we are placing on the top of a stack, the address of that top of stack is what gets stored at a stack. So it is going to point out the top of a stack, number on top of a stack address or top of a stack data. Okay, whatever we are storing inside the stack, at the top of a stack, whatever is there, that is going to ultimately, the address of that is ultimately going to store inside the stack pointer. Because of that, it is pointing the top of a stack. Okay, then we have a program counter. What is the meaning of a program counter? PC is there. PC is also a 16-bit register in 8085 and it plays a very important role. As we know, any program have a sequence. We are executing any program in a sequential order. So whenever we run any program, first instruction is going to be there, then second is going to be there, then third is going to be there. When first instruction is there in PC, we are going to fetch that instruction, then decode that instruction and execute. During fetching, decoding and execution, second instruction is what going to get incremented inside the PC. So, execution of a program stepwise is what ultimately get controlled by program counter. So, program counter counts the execution of your program. Okay? So, after each instruction, it get incremented. If we are resetting that, PC is going to be at a 0 position. So, execution of program is ultimately depend on your program counter, which counts the sequence of a program. The sequential operation of any program is depend on the program counter. It is also a 16-bit register. Then we have an instruction register. Whatever instruction is what we are going to provide to a microprocessor. Maybe user is using an assembly language program and we are providing an instruction add B. So add B is what going to be there ultimately inside the instruction register. What instruction register is going to do? Whenever any operation is what going under in the execution, the instruction is present inside the instruction register. For what purpose? After instruction register, that instruction is what need to get fetched and decoded. Instruction is what gets fetched. Instruction inside the instruction register need to get decoded. Okay? For that purpose, instruction decoder and machine cycle decoder is what get used. It is also a register which is used to decode the instruction of instruction register. Why we have to decode? We know that assembly language is the user language. Okay? Ultimately, microcontroller or microprocessor works on your opcodes. Okay, so what is the opcode or what is the machine cycle, machine code for given provided input instruction is what ultimately get decoded by instruction decoder and machine cycle encoder. After that, we have a very important type of register, third type of registers, that is temporary register. What is the meaning of a temporary register? Temporary registers are not available for user. Sometimes your microprocessor want to save some data or execute any operation, they want to stop that operation and all of a sudden they want to process a different operation. But on what position we have stopped the execution of a program? It first need to get stored at some place. Maybe our ALU have two legs. ALU always want the two input data. So first input data is always there in the accumulator. What about second input data is what we have specified in the register. So that specified output or that specified data is what gets provided to a temporary register for storing purpose. That temporary register works in the collaboration with accumulator and ultimately ALU decide the result. So here in the architecture we have total three temporary registers, that is W, Z and temporary register used by ALU. So we are first going to discuss about W and Z. Both are the 8-bit register. Watch this diagram. Here we have a WZ as a temporary register. So why we need a W and Z? Maybe interrupt is get occurred and it is a maskable interrupt. We can't wait to solve that interrupt. We have to work on that interrupt. But any program is in the execution cycle. If program is in execution cycle, at that time we have to store that program temporarily inside any register. Why? Because after maybe execution of that we have to process that. Okay, so whatever data processor want to store temporarily inside the microprocessor, we ultimately use a WZ, that is a temporary register. Both are 8-bit register and same like the general purpose register, we also can use these two register as a combination, as a WZ pair, which is going to have a temporary register that is used by ALU. ALU always use this temporary register whenever we used to specify any operand for ALU operation. So if we want to perform an ALU operation, ALU's first input is what stored inside the accumulator. Their second input is always get stored inside the temporary register used by the ALU. It is also a ALU temporary register. So these are the register bank of 8085 microprocessor. In next lecture, we are going to start a discussion with a new topic, that is interrupts available in every microprocessor.